Module 2, collecting and managing data. So the first question we have to ask ourselves is, what data should I collect? Because we just talked about a bunch of different data points that are important for a healthy classroom environment, right? So the data that you should collect is all summative assessments, right? Unit tests, projects, state tests that require promotion, graduation, or percentage of their grade, and any other high stakes assessments that you feel necessary to prove mastery in your classroom. That is pretty much the nuts and bolts of your classroom, as I said earlier. Now, other data that you should collect in a formative nature is quizzes that you deem necessary in your classroom to set the standard up for success on unit tests, and any other feelings, behaviors, or trends for students in your classroom. For me, that looks like classwork discussions, classwork ability level, questioning strategies. And how do I collect that? Well, I like to use a notebook for groups and sections of kids, and I like to make sure that I document it with the date, the class period, obviously the student name, and anything that stands out to me in terms of their responses, the way that they responded, the way that they talked with their peers, their comfort level, their confidence, the strength of their response, anything in their interaction that allows me to make good decisions on what is next for them. That is the type of data that you should collect. Now, how do I put that into a gradebook? Well, you can't, right? In the county that I work in, we're not allowed to put in thoughts and feelings and behaviors into the gradebook. We're supposed to put in only academic knowledge and skills. So translating the formative assessments into a summative grade is not possible. However, I said this in the earlier video too, the summative assessments paint the very clear picture of what the student knows. But a formative assessment and the qualitative information that you're going to be gathering, like I just mentioned, is going to fill in the gaps of missing gaps or what you need to do to scaffold for the student to take the next level. So that is the data that you should be collecting in your classroom. Now, the frequency of it, every day. Make it really simple. You should be collecting data on the students every single day. Now, every single student every single day? Absolutely not. But the students that are on your red alert or on the radar in terms of cognitive ability, you should be collecting data on them every single day. Now, your high-end students still collect data on them, but you might be able to use your high-stakes assessments and any quiz grades that you want to put in the gradebook to show that data, okay? But for your students that are struggling, the students that need more support, you should be collecting data on them every single day so you can have better informed instruction for the future for them, okay? Now, the last part here, streamlining data. You've got to make it to the point where A, you're comfortable, with gathering the data, but also B, you can collect the data seamlessly in a way that doesn't add additional hours, right, to your work week. And the way that I like to do that is I like to keep it as electronic as possible, but I also like to do the data collection in the moment. So I typically keep a notebook, one of the small notebooks, flip notebooks, on my person every day, and I'll easily jot down notes from that interaction right away. What that does is that saves me from forgetting in the future or later in the day about that student, but it also allows me to collect the data in the moment. I put that section away of the notebook and I move on to the next thing. That way I can go back and say, student A, for example, well, they got a 70 on this test. Why did they do that? And then I'll look back at the formative data, the qualitative data, and say, oh, well, they were talking to Johnny and they didn't have a good response to Johnny's question. Or my questioning strategy, they really didn't understand the question and they didn't answer it in a succinct manner. So you want to make sure you streamline the data in the moment right away. Now, obviously, grading high-stakes assessments, that's going to be something that you work on your own in terms of your effectiveness and efficiency in doing that. But that will be in your online or your digital gradebook without a doubt. Okay? Hopefully Module 2 was beneficial to you. I know it was shorter, but it also is a little bit easier in terms of the answers for collecting and managing your data. All right? See you in Module 3.